I think a lot of people maybe outside of Philadelphia, and maybe here inside Philadelphia, would say, Nick Sirianni, look at his record. He's a great football coach, right? There's no way. No way that he could ever enter 2026 on the hot seat after 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl win, and even in these 2 down years within the last 4 years, they won 11 games. And even his first year, when there was very little expectation, he had a winning record and went to the playoffs. How the heck, Joe and Hugh and Kyle and everyone at WIP, could Nick Sirianni be on the hot seat? Well, I think it's pretty clear he is going to be on the hot seat. As we, to me, it is that he's on the hot seat. Now, your take on all this, 215-592-9494, should he be on the hot seat? What's interesting to me, because we all have our opinion on should he be and how we feel about him, is will he actually be? And I think he will be on the hot seat as we enter the 2026 season. Few things here, and I know the success has been good. But the Eagles have now a pretty good history of moving off of successful people when they think the shelf life is over. I mean, they had a quarterback here that was a third-place finisher for MVP, and then they couldn't wait to get him out the door after they paid him. They had a head coach here, which is the perfect parallel, who won the franchise's first Super Bowl, and everyone liked him. And they moved him out of here after one tough season. The way I view the Eagles now is I think they view themselves as something more like a great college program than just an NFL team. Like they're Ohio State, they're Texas, they're Alabama. You don't win, you're fired. And I look at Nick Sirianni after he didn't have a good season last year. I don't care they were 11-6. Nick Sirianni himself did not have a good season. And they've given him a lot of talent here in this window. They have 1 Super Bowl to show for it. They probably feel like they should have had 2. In my mind, as I go into 2026, I think he should be on the hot seat. And Hugh Douglas, I believe Nick Sirianni absolutely is on the hot seat as we enter this coming season. Hugh, what are you thinking on Sirianni?
I don't think he's on the hot seat. You know what? I was just thinking about. You ever seen Don't Be a Menace to Society while drinking your juice in the hood?
I haven't.
But there was a scene where at the end, I forgot old dude's name, Ashtray, I think it was. He got shot, right?
Okay.
And he was dying. And she was like, somebody said, why are you so why are you trying to keep this man alive? She said, fool, how you gonna find somebody to take care of all these kids? The reason why that came to mind is because I was thinking, because Coach Sirianni is, for lack of a better way of saying it, a puppet, a high-paid puppet for the organization. And he's had a lot of success. And I know it sounds bad when I say it that way.
It does.
But I'm saying it with all due respect.
Oh,
because
sure.
When
yeah.
you talk,
Wonderful.
Kyle, Joe, when you talk about – well, no, I'm just saying, because I know you about to jump in and jump on me too.
Yes.
But when you look at what Coach Sirianni has been able to do, regardless of how he's done it, at the end of the day, he is one of the winningest coaches in the NFL right now. His winning percentage is super high.
I guess.
And he hasn't had a losing season since he's been a head coach.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I don't give a shit.
And he is one of those coaches that will sit up there and he'll take all the slings and arrows that are thrown at him. He will sit up there and he will not answer questions or look crazy trying to answer questions. And they're okay with that. And he's handsomely compensated for it. And I say all that to say that's why. Well, how else you gonna find somebody else to do what Coach Sirianni does?
Oh, they'll find plenty of coaches that'll come here and do this.
So.
Oh,
don't think so. I think they found the perfect marriage between a guy that's willing. He's malleable.
He is malleable,
and he can coach.
Well, he's malleable.
He's a coach. He can coach.
Wow,
Joe, we can sit here and argue all day about Coach Sirianni's contribution and why they're here, there, or whatever. But the bottom line is he's the head coach.
He is the head coach. And
he's the winningest head coach in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles as of right now.
Well, you mean like in terms of winning percentage?
Winning percentage, Super Bowl appearances, winning the Super Bowl. He's that dude right now. Who's better?
Well,
Coach Reed will be a close second.
But he's tied with Doug for winning the Super Bowl. 1-1. He's got one.
But he's been to 2.
I know. But is that him or the roster?
That's
it's the roster. It's Howie. It's Jeff.
You let me know right there that I'm on the right track.
No,
because
I'm going to throw something at you.
What you got?
You're not. I'm going to prove to everyone out there that this is about the roster, not the coach. And look, I'm not saying that should be out of here today.
Chip beef.
What I'm saying is if they don't perform next season, there's pressure to perform, right? Like, just because he's done something doesn't mean he's going to continue to do it.
True.
And if he wins 12 games next year and they go to the NFC Championship game, then he stays, right? It's performance. Like, yes, he has a lot of wins. Yes, he has a high winning percentage. I recently looked something up just because I was curious. And I think it illustrates just how much it is the roster and what Howie has given him versus Nick Sirianni. Do you know what the biggest point spread in a game where Nick Sirianni has won as an underdog? And what I mean by that is like
6.
Nope. Keep going down.
3.
3.5. The Eagles have never won a game under Nick Sirianni in which they are 4 or more point underdogs. And you might say, Joe, how often has that happened? That's the point. The Eagles, since he got here, and by the way, that game where they were 3.5 point underdogs was his first game as Eagles coach in Atlanta in 2021. The Eagles haven't been, the team he's taken onto the field hasn't been more than a 3-point underdog in 5 years. Think about that for a second. His first game as a coach in Atlanta against the Falcons, Eagles were 3.5 point underdogs. They won the game outright. In the next 5 years, from that moment on, they haven't been more than a field goal underdog. That tells me he's been given the best team every game. So he's supposed to win. Most of these games, he's supposed to win. He's the favorite. And a lot of times by a lot. He's done a nice job. They've got 2 Super Bowls. He's fine. But I think it's pretty clear he's on the hot seat. I want to let you hear this. So this is Jeff McLane recently on his podcast about Sirianni and how the organization might view him as we head towards 2026.
If you recall, as we all recall, it took forever for Howie and Nick to have that end of season press conference. Again, as it became increasingly clear, and I've since understood, is like, and we probably knew at the time, like Nick's future was in doubt.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey and was certainly considering moving on at that point. So there's history here. Like and Jeffrey has become increasingly impatient when it comes to his head coaches. And in fact, when they got with 2-2 to start the season, and there was that bye there, as I've since now understood and have reported, Nick Sirianni, his job was in peril, and he had to make a lot of changes, and because Jeffrey was going to possibly fire him.
I think that is super interesting. That
possibly,
but that was
possibly fired.
That was in the midst of a Super Bowl
to that
season.
possibly for
Yeah,
dear
That
life.
was in the midst of a Super
and then
Bowl year.
They won the Super Bowl,
Right.
and then they read him up. He got a re-up.
Yep, the money's money. I mean,
he got a re-up.
I think it's pretty clear that Lurie is becoming, like McLane said, increasingly, kind of at the trigger finger with these coaches here. Doug out after winning a Super Bowl. Nick will be out after winning a Super Bowl. They fight. I mean, heck, once they moved on from Andy Reid, it opened up to like no coach is ever just going to get carte blanche for a long time anymore. That's the best coach this franchise ever had was Andy Reid. 215-592-9494. I think it's in Lurie's nature. The Eagles look at themselves in a different way than maybe you just look at wins and losses. This almost happened before. I think it's pretty clear in my eyes. Nick Sirianni is on the hot seat as we start the 2026 year. Can we hear from Nick Sirianni? Remember that press conference a few weeks ago? He was talking about what he still does around here as we enter this offseason.
I know that I want to be the head football coach, and I think that that's what the team needs. Again, everything I'm doing is not about what I want to do or anything like that. It's what I think is best for the football team, and I think it's best for the football team when I'm the head football coach, and being able to give my expertise on whatever it may be, tackling, taking the ball away, protecting the football. Anything on off, it could be anything, special teams. So, again, you have to be so intertwined as the leader of an organization. You have to be so intertwined with every different thing. And so, we'll see where all that goes.
Tackling. Did you forget that? He's part of tackling.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't had some of the most stellar press conferences.
The first part of being smart
and
is knowing what to do.
And he hasn't had some of the most stellar tunnel presence when you come to talk about after the game. But the man has won a lot of football games.
The team has.
Joe, I know we like to do this.
Well, but do he and Jalen split the wins, or they both get a win?
No, I get what you're saying, but who's the leader? Who's the guy?
Howie.
Joe, who's the guy that leads them onto the field every Sunday?
Leads them on, who's the guy that acts like a clown going
Nick
into the
Sirianni.
tunnel? Okay.
Who's the guy that shaves his hair and has a Britney Spears moment and wins the Super Bowl? Nick Sirianni.
Wonderful. They'll find another coach to win the Super Bowl.
Not to that caliber. No.
They had Doug and moved on.
Let me say this. I'm not saying that Nick Sirianni is irreplaceable. I'm just saying it'd be foolish to replace him in the next couple of seasons unless it's really bad. And I don't think it's going to be really bad. This team is not set up to be really bad. Because just like you said, next year if they win 12 wins and make it to the playoffs, he's good. And they're equipped to do that for the next couple of seasons. So that's why I don't think he's going anywhere.
I think if it's 8 or 9, he could be out of here next year. Whether or not that's fair or not, I think that's where we're headed.